Talon #3, written by James Tynion IV and Scott Snyder, art by Gillum March. Last issue we had them taking down a whole big bank in a hotel or something like that, and Calvin got pissed off at Sebastian because Sebastian's not being so upfront with him, and Calvin just wants to save his old girlfriend, old flame, old friend, however you want to call it, Casey. And this issue picks up with 6 years ago in New York, where Calvin is talking with Casey and saying, like, hey, we need to get out of here. The Court of Owls could literally be anywhere. They aren't just a Gotham thing. And she's like, I'm not going to live in fear. I'm not going to keep running. I'm going to set down roots here. I'm going to build a life, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it. And he's just like, that is so stupid. They are clearly going to be able to do something about it. I can't protect you if we don't run. And she's like, I'm not asking you to protect me. You want to run? Get out of here. I will give you a constant string of new aliases as you need them because I have that ability. But we're done. Don't ever come back here again if you're just going to live on the run. So she storms off in the rain, and then we cut to present day. Same bridge where Calvin has called her up and said, like, hey, I'm in town. I'm in New York. Let's meet back up. And Sebastian's like, this is a really bad idea. We're going in to attack one of their other financial holdings. That's the whole reason we're in New York. You should not have contacted her, especially over just normal means. And he's like, no, she inherited this whole security thing. She knows what's up. And he's just like, yeah. And the Court of Owls also inherited a bunch of the security stuff. You're being an idiot. But at that point, a blonde woman, starts walking up on the bridge. And Calvin's caught off guard as another man named Joey comes up behind him out of nowhere and strings a chain around his neck. He manages to get out of it. He flips them onto each other and just like, you guys don't look like Talons. And they're like, funny, you do. So the fight scene starts off. But before we can even really get that far, Calvin is hit in the neck with a tranq dart and he's out again. And when he comes to, he's all tied up in like normal handcuffs. And he's being talked to by a guy named Nicky. There's another guy named Edgar. And he's just like, hey, here's the thing. We don't want any trouble. We just want to ask you a few questions. And he's like, I can see that guy previously worked for Basilisk because he's got a giant snake tattoo on him. You sound like you're some kind of mafia wannabe. So I know exactly where I'm at. Where's your boss? And he's just like, oh, you're Sherlock Holmes, huh? Well, you've got an owl face on your chest, and we don't take too kindly to that. And he's just like, you don't even know who I am. And he immediately is just out of his handcuffs. He's like, I'm the kind of guy you need extra locks for. But then down from the ceiling come extra special locks. And they string up him and seemingly shock him a little bit. And out from the shadows comes Casey, along with her daughter, Sarah. And she's like 7 years old at this point. And he's like, oh, hey, mommy, it's Calvin. And Calvin's like, hey, kid. Long time no see. And she's like, why are you strung up from the ceiling? And he's just like, I bet I look silly, don't I? I need to talk to your mom. And at that point, mom comes up just being like, all right, you want to talk? Let's talk. And Casey walks her through the entire facility that they're at, which is apparently completely off the grid. They have no idea like where they specifically are. And when Calvin said he knows where he is, he just meant he knows that Casey's the one who's running things here. But apparently her entire thing is she is taking in people who are being hunted by organizations like the Court of Owls, ones that have this massive overreach and ability to find anybody, and she is taking them off the grid and allowing them to live. So she's doing all that. And basically, Calvin's like, that's great. I really believe in you. But the Court of Owls definitely knows where you are. And she's like, no, they don't. I literally have always been so careful. The only way they'd know where I am is if you did something to screw that up. But we're not idiots. We're not amateurs. And she walks into like a secret back room where her enforcers are. And just like all these people like previously worked with the best of the best. The blonde lady you saw before worked with the League of Assassins. Like, these people wanted a better life and we're helping them give it, but they're also using their talents. So At that point, they managed to hack into Sebastian's like video feed to start up a call, and Casey's like, "Hey, Sebastian, here's the thing. Heard about your little excursions on how you're trying to take down the Court of Owls. We are obviously very useful assets." And he's just like, "Yeah, why you think that?" And he's like, "Well, we just took down Calvin, so clearly you're not as good as us." And Sebastian's like, "Fair enough. What do you want?" And she's just like, "We just want to also take down things like the Court of Owls, but also you're draining their financial accounts. Just funnel it over to us. We're going to use that money to give these people a better life." And Sebastian's like, "Fine, I'm listening." So the next day they set up the plan that Sebastian wanted to set up anyway, but this time with the added measure of they can get in and get out without even having to fight the Talon, which is providing security for this place. His name is Roger Black. And basically, Sebastian goes in wearing one of those light face mesh things that we saw in Batman #1, I think, where it provides a completely different facial structure and it's undetectable on scans. So he gets scanned into the bank as a Mr. Luciano, who's planning on making some major deposits here. The bank owner steps up. He's just like, "Oh, yes, so sorry about security." And Luciano's like, "Hey, as long as it keeps away the riffraff, you know?" And at that point, the League of Assassins girl, who's only named Miss Volkova, I think she gets an actual full name later, but for now it's Volkova. She comes in, stages a stick-up of the bank, and Calvin's like, "Oh, Mr. Bank Manager, there's a stick-up. If you want me to feel safe, go deal with that." And he's like, "Oh, right away, sir." So that gives Calvin some time alone in the vaults. We see Joey has snuck in through the building in order to provide him some hacking material and his costume, because of course he has to wear his costume. And they hack into the bank and start draining all the accounts and whatnot. At a certain point, they're like, "Okay, all right, we're doing good. We don't even have to deal with the Talon guy. The Talon guy's off busy doing his own thing. So yeah, we can get in, get out, no problem." And Calvin looks out the window to see where his escape hatch is going to be. He's like, "All right, yeah, it's like a 30-foot drop, no problem." But as he does so, he's grabbed by the face of a Talon hand. And wouldn't you know, it's the Gotham Butcher, who was woken up at the end of last issue. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Rose. You're not leaving that way." So, yeah, he's huge. He's absolutely enormous. And does not look good for Calvin. I like it. I think it sets up a good cast of characters. This is kind of the secondary team. It's setting it up at a good pace where the 0th issue was literally just Calvin. Then we set up Sebastian in issue 1. We showed them working together in issue 2, showing how that dynamic works out. And now we're setting up this extra tertiary cast of characters of other people who are able to help Calvin out in the field because they have these skills. I think it's doing a decent job. It's not really a team book. It still is more focused on Calvin, but it's setting up this cast that is able to be developed on more. And I think they're doing a good job of setting it up. Not all at once where I'm feeling overwhelmed, but just, drip fed. I'm getting a little bit here, a little bit there. So I'm going to give this one I'll give it a 7.5. And I think a lot of that comes down to I like the pacing of it, and I especially like the ending because I genuinely didn't see it coming. By the time it hit the last page, and it was just like, "Oh, okay, this guy's here now." It did feel like it came out of right field. So nice to see it's a little bit unpredictable. So yeah, 7.5 for this. Looking forward to next issue.